Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning to you all. I'm Kate Chubbuck, Vice President for Education. As we begin, I would like to acknowledge that the New York Botanical Garden is located on the ancestral homeland of the Lenape Delaware people. We honor them and acknowledge their displacement, dispossession, and continued presence. This morning, I am delighted to welcome you for this very special demonstration, timed to coincide with NYBG's annual Kiku, or Japanese Chrysanthemum Festival. As someone who is a student of Japanese art and culture, I am personally very excited for this moment. I have been eagerly anticipating it this fall. For this gorgeous program, we are very honored to have partnered with the New York chapter of Ikebana International. I would like to extend a very special welcome to those of you who are members of Ikebana International and who may be visiting the garden for the first time in honor of this occasion. After the demonstration, I encourage all of you to visit our Kiku display located in our historic Glass House Conservancy. This special exhibit features Japanese chrysanthemums that have been trained into both ancient and modern styles and which reflect NYBG's long-standing commitment to honoring the floral design traditions of Japan. If you enjoy this program, we also encourage you to explore our other offerings on our website, which include floral design, as well as botanical illustration, botany, gardening, and all things plants. So without further ado, please welcome with me the president of Ikebana International's New York chapter, Hazui Tamara Stein. Domo arigato gozaimashita.
I'm sure. Can you see? Well, good morning. It's such a beautiful day and perfect place. We are very lucky. And thank you for coming. We haven't had any program because of pandemic for 3 years. And I'd like to thank you for caring New York Botanical Garden to start our opening program at beautiful place. Ikebana International was founded in Tokyo, Japan in 1956 by Ellen Gordon. Ellen to promote friendship among people of the world. Through their mutual love of nature and enjoyment to Ikebana, as expressed in our motto, is friendship through the flowers. The organization continues to be headquartered in Tokyo. Ikebana International New York Chapter 7 was founded in 1957. Washington chapter was first. There are over 130 chapters in the world. Every 5 years, we have World Convention in Japan. But sadly, convention was postponed twice due to a COVID pandemic. New York Chapter 7 status as public charitable organization since 2007. Anybody can be join us and become chapter members. And your donation will be tax deductible. We will have 3-4 times Ikebana demonstration by different Ikebana schools. We will have Ikebana exhibit and Ginza bazaars and so many things. You can look our website, Ikebana International New York Chapter 7, www.ikebanany.org. Other one is Ikebana International Headquarters, Tokyo, www.ikebanahq.org. Now, I now have the honor of introducing our program chair, Yiwei Yang. Thank you very much. Enjoy the talk.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you, President Hasway. Good morning, everyone. More than 560 years ago, Ikenobu Senno transformed simple flower offerings and Buddhist temple in Kyoto, Japan into an elegant art ikebana, with a formal language that tells stories of the ever-changing beauty of life and nature. Finding beauty at every stage of life of plants is at the core of the spirit of Ikenobu Ikebana. It is also because of generations of Ikenobu practitioners who continue to work with the range of the contemporary culture of every period of their own time, that flowers of Ikenobu have continued till today. It is a great honor for me to introduce our demonstrator today, who first fell in love with Ikebana in the late 1990s. He is well posed as a storyteller. He holds the highest ranking of Ikenobu, Sokatoku rank 18. He is known as a skillful and captive demonstrator. He attended the prestigious Chukwenyu, Kakuin, and Ikenobu headquarters in Kyoto and graduated with the highest honors. His Ikebana art exhibit at San Francisco's Dion Museum garnered much acclaim. In 2018, with the support of headmaster Shin-Ei Ikenobu, he formed the Ikenobu California Pacific chapter with members in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York. Our demonstrator today will begin our flower journey in ancient Kyoto, telling the story of Ikebana's evolution through centuries as he demonstrates the historical array of flower arrangements, the classical as stunning as the modern styles. And along this journey, we will learn about Ikenobu Ikebana's techniques and philosophies. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our demonstrator, Professor Joseph Lam.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you guys. It has been a while since the pandemic. We lost a lot of opportunities to meet each other. Now today, I'm not going to bore you with all the history, but I will take you to a brief journey of Ikenobu Ikebana. And as what Yiwei have mentioned, Ikenobu Ikebana has been around for 560 years, and it continued to evolve. And according to the modern culture and the tradition of the Japanese society. So today, I would like to have welcome Paula Tam, and she's going to assist me to do the demonstration. So in order for me to bring you through the journey, I don't want to bore you, but I have to bring you a little history of how Japanese Ikebana culture is being imported. I think back in the 600s, Buddhism started from India and gradually spread to China and South Korea and through the Silk Road. And how to get to Japan, I think it's through sea. And so as early as the 600s, the Buddhism has started to influence the Japanese culture. As people get more involved with Buddhism, and back in the 1300s, people used flowers and put it in the temples as an offering, and also as to carry a wish. So if you have a problem, people go to the temple and say, "Oh, please help me out with this and that." In the 1400s, around the 1300 to 1400s, the Shogunates and also the higher upper society start to get more interested in flower arrangement. And they sometimes get together in a hall and to display the arrangements, like what we are doing in recent times and in modern times. But those are very elite group of people get together. And they continue to admire each other's arrangement and sometimes get into competitions together. Because of the Chinese influence, there are a lot of Chinese art and also vases that were imported into Japan. So while they were doing the flower arrangement, appreciation, and competition, they also appreciate the Chinese art and the artifacts and also the vases. Back in the early 1500s, people getting to be more involved, and in the Wakakudo Temple in Kyoto, there was a very famous lead monk called Senkei Ikinobu. So he started to get people. He was a very popular flower arranger. So people also get together and to appreciate his arrangements. And there is, according to the records, there was a hut by the pond, and in the name Ikinobu means Ike is by the pond, Bo is the hut of the monk that stayed in. So that's how the name Ikinobu came from. So that's why our school is called Ikinobu. So, but before that, people do arrangements in the as the history continued to evolve. In the 1500s, there was a new style of architecture introduced in Japan, and inside the home, they have a tokonoma, and for the tokonoma, it's like an alcove, and in the alcove they have a specific set of arrangements, and it is called Satsuki Karashi. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. If I know I'm incorrect, I'll let you know later. And it's the set of arrangements with a tatehana on the left, and an incense burner in the middle, and on the right is a candle holder. So today, I'm going to take you through this journey, starting doing a tatehana arrangement. Okay, so in tatehana, usually is an upward arrangement. And upward arrangement, why is it so upward? The purpose is to offer to Buddha or to gods. So if each branch has a meaning, for example, I'm making this pine branch. I hope that, I'm not feeling too well. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. And this branch is for God, and please help me get better. So every branches and every flowers they add on, they carry some kind of meaning. It's up to the offerer. So I do have a Japanese branch, and I hate to tell you that I borrowed it from a garden nearby in my hometown in San Francisco, because the Japanese pine has a very unique feeling, and it's a lot more delicate, and so I promise to return it after I use it. So on the top part of this arrangement, tatehana is called motoki, means it's a wood material. On the lower part of the tatehana arrangement, it's called shitakusa. That means it's a grass material. So the top material with wood material means that it's a mountain, and the one in the front is more like a field. And we will also define a Mitsukiba. Now, there is no such specific name of the branches, okay? So I'm going to try my best to keep you in, to show you how these are arranged. Now, as the Tatehana evolved, we don't have to use the wood material anymore. But with that in mind, it's still vertical rather than spreading outward like the other style. So. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Now, I don't want to bore you. If I am saying too much about history, you let me know, okay? So, usually, Tatehana should not be too elaborate because you're offering this to God or to Buddha, and should have some kind of solemn feel. Right? And I have this clematis that I found yesterday. I think they're pretty cute. So. You have a very nice flower market in New York. I'm so jealous, but what can I say? You have the best of everything here in the country, I think, right? So. Which one looks better? Okay. I think this one looks better, don't you think? This one is already wide open, right? So maybe in 2 hours it will be two. Okay. I'm going to take this. So actually, Tatehana is a lot of fun to do because it does. Can be very simple, but you can make it very elegant by choosing the right material. In the Ikenobo Ikebana, we emphasize on balance and balance. The combination of colors, the empty space, because it has a lot of influence from China. And if you know Chinese culture, we pay a lot of attention to yin and yang and harmony. So those elements are all incorporated in the Ikenobo style of arrangement. And I remember when I took classes in Kyoto, teacher always say, oh, less is more. And it is so easy to say, but I think it's very hard to understand what less is more. And also we have a tendency to get as much as possible, right? Stick everything in. So especially when you go to the flower market, you walk in or say, I only need one thing. It's very similar to going to Costco. Do you like Costco? So I tend not to go there. I think it's good to just order online because you save a lot of money, right? If you go to Costco and say, oh, I'm going to get my blueberries there, end up the blueberry costs $200, right? So. And so what I'm doing now, I'm constructing the front, and eventually we call that Do and Maeoki. But in this Tatehana, we don't have a name for it. Okay, but it's good to use the same concept. So I understand there's some audience that study Ikinobo Ikebana, right? So when we do the Rika, we have the left side you put a flower, the right side you put a fern, right? So you can apply the similar philosophy, a similar method, but the most important thing is about balance. Try not to overwhelm your arrangement. If you overwhelm your arrangement, it takes away the natural beauty of Ikinobo, Ikebana, or even any kind of school. And I don't know how you started taking. I assume some of you have taking classes, right, from different schools, right? So a lot of people ask me, oh, how come you study Ikinobo, Ikebana? But I believe that all schools are interesting. All school has their own good part of, that attract your attention. So I will tell you the story later on. My journey to Ikinobo later on, because I want to finish this one and I want to show you how I didn't want to use a lot of materials. I think I keep reminding myself less is more, but it's so hard to do. So every time when I do an arrangement, I try to say, oh, do I really need this? If not, I have to remove it and take it away. So in this arrangement, I do use hate to name it, shouldn't call it, but I do use a shoshin, a liatris. And I think that brings out some nice color of, because this arrangement is kind of quiet. I do like this pine. The pine tells you the change of time, right? And I have this, actually I brought some of my materials with me from San Francisco. This is zebra bulrush. When I cut it, I don't know if you see the green in between, and it's getting less and less in the past few days, and I don't know why, but anyway, it's still good. In this Tatehana, I use a straw. This is a natural straw, but in the school, we also have an artificial straw called komiwala. But this is a more natural komiwala, and you can use it again and again, and I really like. I find it very useful. Now you tell me whether this piece of clematis is good or not, okay? So in the Ikinobo Ikebana, every piece of leaf, branch, including this bulrush, serve a purpose and has its own beauty. And I think it's a wonderful way to reflect that in our human society, we also this is finished, so I'll let you see to see if you like it. So the top part is called the motoki. The lower part is the shita kusa. Shita, that means lower. Kusa is a grass material. So I didn't use a lot of material. So you can tell by using pine, it makes a big difference, right? So, okay. So hope you like this. And this is my first arrangement called Tatehana. I have to do this myself because the vase is heavy and I really don't want to burden Paula too much. So as the Ikebana continues to evolve, we have quite a lot of great masters in Ikenobo Ikebana. Start out with Senkei Ikenobo, and as what I mentioned earlier, and Senjo Ikenobo, Sano Ikenobo, they continue to improve the style of Ikebana, and they continue to record them. And if you get a chance to go to Kyoto, go to Rokakudo Temple, and inside the school there is a museum. You can see all the records and see how they document how Ikebana is being evolved from one master to another. At Sano Ikenobo continue to attract a lot of people and a lot of followers. So after Sano Ikenobo, we also had a Senge Ikenobo. It's the same name as our current headmaster. Senge Ikenobo started to formalize the branches of Tatehana, we just saw. And also, of course, the Gofu, I think, Nidai Senko continue to formalize the shape. And it was Nidai Senko that named all the branches. So we started to have another style of flower arrangement we call Rika Shofutai. So the reason why I have to go through that, so you can see how this is being evolved, the next stage of, next style of flower arrangement. And in the Rika, they started calling them Rika, especially the students who want to pass on the knowledge of the Nidai Senko. They started to record them and formalize them and name the 7 branches. And I will tell you the branches as when there's a form. So I'm going to, I know it's still in the 15th, 16th century, right? But I want to use the same style with a little bit of modern touch. So you can see the different, all the yakueda, all the elements of the branches are there, but I will stick with the formal material as much as possible. Now, in the Ikenobo Ikebana, we emphasize a lot on using seasonal materials. Same as when you go to Kyoto, you go to Kaiseki, they do the same. They serve you with seasonal materials, food, right? So I heard that a lot of people say, oh, you know, bittersweet is a very invasive material. I said, oh no, this is what I'm going to use today. but we treasure a lot because it's like a freeway material, right? Sometimes you drive by the freeway, you can see tons of them along. But this is a Japanese bittersweet. It does have a very elegant movement, and I want to show you to see if you agree with me or not. Okay. So today I'm doing this style. It's called Rikka Shofutai, and with emphasis on the mikoshi. Mikoshi is one part of all the yakueda, the branches of this style, Rikka. But also, I'm sorry, it's pretty hard for me to see that, but I will adjust it. But also, huh? Oh, okay, oh, good. This piece is called Mikoshi, actually, but it's a special study. We moved because of the movement of this bittersweet. I deliberately moved this to the left to emphasize the beauty of this curve. So I moved the mikoshi to the left side. So there's a term for it. We call it ouchi mikoshi. And so I use ocularica leaf. Actually, I don't know about you. As I get more addicted to arranging flowers, I have to start growing. Before, I never went to my backyard. And now I spend every day there. Because in order to get the right material, I have to grow it myself. It's pretty hard to go to the flower market and say, hey, this is Japanese ocularica leaf. I want 10 pieces of that. They say, what are you talking about? I don't even know what they are. And sometimes even though you got the material, they don't look the same. They are not as natural as when you grow yourself in your yard because they're commercial growers, right? So this piece I'm putting in is called Shin. Usually, this is a major piece. Shin is the main part usually, but today I emphasize on the bittersweet. So let's see how that works. In Ikenobu School, we do spend a lot of time doing wiring. And why are you doing wiring? People ask, say, because of this technique, I am able to manipulate the plants to the way I want it. And I talked about it earlier. Empty space is important. So in order to create an empty space, I need the plant to stay in that spot, right? You want that to be in the same spot without wiring, it's almost impossible because you cannot really, sometimes they just don't listen to you. Even though when you raise your kids, you say, oh, I teach you everything, how come you don't follow me, right? So it's the same as plants, so. So today, in order to complement this bittersweet, because this bittersweet has a very dramatic movement to the right in this arrangement, I move the nagashi. Nagashi is called in the Rikka style, usually it's on the right side. Today I'm doing the hongate. Hongate is a left side arrangement. So in order to contrast it, and I want to tell you what it mean by contrast. In the theory of yin and yang, you want to create drama. Create drama by not having the same thing on the left and the right. You create, for example, you put a big leaf on here, and if you put another big leaf, your first big leaf will not be as prominent because you are stealing the look of the big leaf, right? So you put something very light right next to it, you see the contrast. The bigger the contrast, the more dramatic it is. That's the theory that we use. Oh, can we have some music? Because I don't want to bore you, we planned on some music originally, so. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even know. Okay. So let me show you this part. So this is, we call this Mikoshi, and it's moved to your right, my left, and I use Ocularica leaf. This is iris, some kind of iris leaf on the right, and this is called Shin, and then Nagashi over here, and some accessories. I know this vase is heavy, so I don't want to. Yeah, okay. I'll show you when I'm all done. Okay. Oh, thank you. Now you won't feel that bored, right? I really don't want to bore you. I want you to keep you awake. Yes, I'm using Kensan, especially for, it's very hard when you use a lot of material. You want to use Komiwara to stick it in. It becomes very, it requires a lot of time and skill. And I'm putting Leatrice in, and this is my Shoshin. You will not see it later on. You are seeing it now. It's a good point. In order to control the position of the leaf, we have to secure it. We have to find a way to do that by wiring and also using taping. But once I'm done, the orientation is for me, right? I'm facing the arrangement. So I won't see any tapes, but you will see them because you are at the other side. So when I'm done, you will not see one tape. How's that? I promise you. And positioning is very important. If you do not position your material properly, you will see a lot of defects. But you don't want your viewers to see the defect. You want the viewer to see your feelings, your interpretation. If you use a lot, then you take away a lot of space, and that's not very good either. So this is foxtail fern, and this is a little bit more modern version of the Rika Shofutai. So the scale and also the vase is tall. So in order to balance it, I do not want a huge arrangement because it is big already. Otherwise, you will be looking at it like this, and that is not good for the viewers. So this is my dough. We call it dough is the front part. And the front part is very important because it does give you depth. create depth of your arrangement. And this is I use it for Myoki, the front part, to define the Mitsugiwa. Talking about Mitsugiwa. In the Ikenobo style arrangement, the waterline is very important because it's the beginning of the source of life. Your waterline, you will see it later on, everything starts out from a source. And I know there are a lot of audience here, they study horticulture in this garden, right? Plants grow from the soil and start to flourish, go towards the sun. And it's the same theory and idea. That's why in order to show the discipline of your ranger, you need to have a very clear waterline. Now I put a Mikoshi over here, but we also need to tell the audience that it's not that I made a mistake. It's just I intentionally do that. So we have a piece called za. That means, you put something there, but it's not that prominent. Just to remind people, I know what I'm doing. Right? I know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it because I know what I'm doing. So I'm creating something more unique by playing around, playing with it. So you can see the variations of it. Now, usually the Nagashi represents the river. Nagashi usually is on the right side. And the shin, this is the main material usually, it goes upward because the shin is facing the sun, right? Because I move my Nagashi to the left in order to balance the drama of this Mikoshi, which is supposed to be a tiny piece. I move the Nagashi to the left side. So I need to put a Nagashi za on the right side also, right? So it's more like, so in order to balance it. So this is my supposedly Nagashi. This is top lily. It's very cute. I don't know if you have it in the East Coast. You do have it? Oh, yeah. So a lot of the material came by my students' garden or from my garden. Actually, this is from my garden. One of my students said, Sensei, when I come to your house, I see that a lot of empty space in your garden. Can I bring something? Will you grow it there? I say, oh, okay. Then I realized actually I'll become the gardener. So every time when they come, they go to the garden and cut instead of bringing stuff over. They're very smart, right? So I don't mind that because I get to tell them which piece to cut. So we have indomie and yodomie. Basically, these are accessories to decorate. And I don't want to make them too prominent. Let's see. So we call this part uke because we have a beautiful bittersweet to frame it. So I deliberately emphasize this uke. And this is Japanese lily. It's one of my students from, I live in San Francisco, by the way. So I have a student who lives in LA and she drives up to San Francisco and take classes from me every month. So it's very sweet of her, right? So, and one day she said, oh, Sensei, I have this. I think you may like it, So I say, oh, what is that? She said, oh, well, it's easy to grow. So then I realized, oh, it's Japanese lily because I can't find it here. Usually when you go to buy lily, it's a whole bunch, right? And I think one flower is a lot more delicate. So I start growing. This is the first flower after I got the little plants from her. So her name is Audrey. And I have to thank her because with this, I can make this arrangement a little bit different. That's why I said sometimes the flower won't listen to you. Empty space is extremely important. So I try not to overwhelm my space. Be patient, I'm almost done with this one. And I use this, we call that Ushio-Gakoi. Basically, this piece of material helps to carry your eye further out. And that's a very important part of this arrangement, even though it may be. And this is Australian pine. I like to use it a lot because the tip has a little orange, yellow color. I think I'm going to use. Now, let's see how we can do this. I have to untangle this piece. The reason why we like bittersweet is because it has such a beautiful movement. And it's very malleable. And I like the two materials complementing each other. Between the lily, this white almost, and then the orange of the bittersweet. So this is my Rika. So you can tell empty space is important. I did not use a lot of materials, actually. When you look at it now, can you see the tape? No. Okay. I want to make sure that you won't see it. See how bittersweet can create such a drama. By moving, so actually this element, we call Mikoshi, is supposed to be over here. But I see that when Paula showed me this bittersweet, I said, oh, I'm going to do this because I think this is so pretty. So I moved this to the left and coming back to the right to frame my lily. And that gives you, I don't have to tell you, this is the star, right? Yeah, so this is my Rika now. So this is the, usually, actually, even though it looks very modern, but it's a formal Rika. So when you do, when we study, there is a teaching about Ouchi Mikoshi, making this big one, and it is for this purpose. Okay, so this is the Rika. All right, I'm going to move this. So as Ikenobu School continued to evolve in the late 1700s to the early 1800s, there's another style established. It's called shoka. So about shoka, I need to go back to this arrangement to tell you. This, we call it shin. And the lower part over there, we call it soi. Shin goes up and soi, basically they complement each other. Not in this situation because I don't want to emphasize too much of it. I want to emphasize this part, right? And the nagashi, which is right now is on the left side, it should be on this side. So the next style, we call it a shoka, shofutai. It's coming from shin, soi, and nagashi. Okay, these three branches, and it will become a shoka, shofutai. Why shoka, shofutai? We emphasize respecting the nature of plants is important. We call the shisho, how the plants grow. And shoka is the best way to reflect that. Oftentimes, we do it with one material. For example, in the springtime, we use I think in here, you do have it too. It's called, we use cherries. We use a lot of people like that. It's called bouquet. Is it called quince, right? In Japanese, we call it bouquet. Bouquet. And why you like that? Because it's when springtime, that's when the flower comes. And why we like it? Because I can manipulate as much as I can, and it still won't break. So which is the best? And you can make a very elegant one material arrangement. As the country continue to open up, the more material goes out. Now, in the shoka style, based on the shin, soi, and nagashi, we have one material shoka, we call it ishike. We have two material shoka, we call it nishike. Ni is number two, right? So why do you have two materials? Usually, for example, you only want to do the branch, and the branch doesn't have a lot of flowers, or doesn't really reflect the seasons that much. You can use the second material, we call it the nijime. We put the second in the front as a tie. So from the Shin, Soy, and Nagashi. In Shoka, we call Shin, Soy, and Tai. Shin represent human, Jin, is a person. Soy represent heaven, and Tai represent the earth. So heaven and earth with the man growing up, reaching the sun. So that's the whole idea. So as the country continue to open, there are more flowers imported into Japan, and so there are other foreign materials. So we can start doing sansuike, which is 3 material shoka. If you want to do a very traditional shoka, usually we use 1 material. But today I want to show you the fun part of doing shoka by using sansuike. So I know I'm supposed to do a lot of things that looks very ancient, right? So now we move to the 17th, 18th century. So I'm using a more traditional vase to reflect that period, but I'm going to use it. And I know the Kikyu exhibit is here, so I deliberately choose Kikyu as my shin. In Japan, white Kikyu represents the highest level of Kikyu because it's pure. And I was very lucky. We went to the farm market on Monday, and I was looking and I say, oh, I like to add some water. I like to use Kikyu. So we saw this one bunch only. That was Monday. And so Paula said, oh, we better reserve it because you may not have it. I said, well, why? Because in New York, you got tons of everything, right? So Paula said, no, reserve it. So we did. And lucky we did, because when I went back, that was the only bunch. So I feel lucky that we have this. Huh. So when I grow, actually, I don't have big Kikyu in my garden, but I have different varieties. And now this is quite straight. If we go to Kyoto, and you can find Kikyu has more movement because they grow specifically for our school sometimes, and we also appreciate the leaves. If you go to Japan and buy Kikyu, you can see the leaves are so beautiful, how the growers grow. But in here, we are commercial growers. They don't really know why you keep every single piece of leaf. We do. So this is oculorically also. And I also have one Japanese iris, Kakitsubata. And I treat it like a fancy watch, I'll tell you why. We have a lot of raccoon. Yeah. I don't know if you like raccoon or not, they're cute, right? But I'm not too crazy about them because they're very clean, I heard. So they like to take a bath. So one time I came home and I went to the garden. And look at it. I said, oh no, what happened? Apparently they like to drink the water. In order to grow this iris, you have, I'm sure you guys have the luxury to have a pond, and I don't. So I put in a bucket. So I fill up the bucket with water. So hopefully they grow all right. But it's pretty hard. So when I came home, I look at it and say, oh no, what happened? All my Kakisubatas are dead. They're all bent. So I have to put a fence now, to put a fence around my bucket to stop them from invading my treasure. So I use, I'll show you this. This is a shin pot. It goes vertical. And because the mums is very vertical, right? Doesn't have a lot of movement. So I use a couple of pieces of Ocularica to give a little bit more movement. Oh, Paula told me I better hurry up. Okay, I will. So I'm going to speed up, okay? Well, on the other hand, I don't want you to fall asleep either. So this is called soy. And Yi-Wei, how much time do I have? Because I want to tell you as much as possible, right? So in order for me to do that, I need time to keep talking. Oh, okay. But after this, the legs should be pretty. Yi-Wei, how much time do I have? 40 minutes? Okay, all right, I'll speed up. Don't fall asleep, okay? So this is, we call it soy. This is a soy pot. Should I tell you another story? So a lot of people ask me why I study Ikki Nobu Ikkebana, right? So now this story, in order to tell you the whole story, I have to start from when I was in high school. That's a long time ago. Don't ask me the year, okay? But when I was in high school, I had a very good friend. And one day he gave me a calendar, a Japanese calendar. And in that calendar, it has a beautiful picture of a Japanese pond and a Japanese garden. And I was fascinated by it. You know, in those days, Japanese printings were just fantastic. You look at the calendar, looks like you are there, you know, and they have these printing techniques that looks So he gave me a calendar and I was fascinated by it. So I told my dad, I said, well, I want to go to Japan. They said, no, it's expensive. I said, well, I still want to go. And so he said, okay, when you go to college, I will let you go there. So when I was in college, I decided to take my first trip overseas to Japan. And my friend told me that, oh, you know, in Hokkaido, in wintertime, they have Yuki Matsuri. It's beautiful there. And I said, okay, I will go then, you know. So, you know, when you are in school, you have no money, right? So I found out that I could stay in a youth hostel. It's very cheap. It's like $20 or less than that. And you buy a sheet and you buy a pillow cover, and then you can go there and sleep in one of those dormitories. So I went there in winter. I think it's January, February. It was so cold. The first time I realized, because I came from San Francisco, right? First time I realized, oh, winter is brutal. It is brutal. So I went there without knowing Japanese, so I had a dictionary. When I was in Tokyo, I stayed in a youth hostel called Yoyogi. There's a youth hostel there. So I stayed there, and in the youth hostel, the first time I traveled, right? You stay with in one room, you spend time, you sleep with 4 other people. And at that time, I realized it was, in Japan, you have to take a college entrance exam. So all the guys who stay there, they're all taking college entrance exam. And so I met quite a lot of friends by using a dictionary. So I stayed there, and I spent a whole month in there. Now, they all look the same, these mums, because this is from the farm market. If I grow it at home, they will all look very different, right? So that's why I like to, but I'll do my best to make it as different as possible. Yes? Oh, I use a Kansan. Is that what you're asking? Why is it? Okay, so this is going upward, and this is to balance. This is called a tie. This is to balance the heaven. This is heaven and earth. Earth is lower, right? So when I'm done with this, you can see, and that can reflect. Let me see. So it goes this direction. It's called yin and yo. This is a yo side. This is a yin. So the sun goes this way. So in soil, I know I don't have much time, but I want to explain to you. The soil basically reflects the change of time as they go out that way, but because the sun is on this side, so it still come back towards the sun. And how did it stay? In here? Oh, I'm using a Kansan. It's a pin frog. So when I stick it in, it goes. You mean how to stay like this? It's you see it later. It's not hard. Oh, now if you want to know more, you need to take Ikebana class. Right? That's the only way to learn, right? I know this is a little high, but from the stage, I want you to see it. Usually, this is like 1/3 of this, but because this is not much here, I want to fill up this space. And since we don't have much time, I'm going to let it go, okay? So, and this is called Sanshike. And this is the shin part, this is the soy, and this is the Thai part. So I think from the stage, you can see, from there, you can see it all right? So, since I'm being rushed, I have to move on. And so after Second World War, sorry, we jumped a couple of centuries, but that's how it is. After Second World War, Japan opened up a lot, and the way people live, it's very different. So, can someone? So in order to so I let Paula do the adjustment, okay? So I can talk. So in order to ketchup. Yeah. In order to catch up modern lifestyle, so we have Ikenobo developed a freestyle. Everybody likes freestyle, right? So after the Second World War. We use straw to secure it. So this is a typical Ikenobo style vase. Oh, I didn't finish my story. So anyway, I'll make this story quick, okay? So I met a lot of friends. And so I went to Hokkaido. Oh, on my way to Hokkaido, I went through Aomori. I was on the train and trying to communicate with someone that with the language that I don't know. So I met this college student who just finished taking the exam, and then he was on his way home. And he was very eager to learn English, and I was very eager to learn Japanese. So that's great, right? So we became we keep talking and talking, and then suddenly he said, "Oh, let me call my dad." So he called his dad. He said, "Oh, I met someone on the train. I would like to invite him over to stay overnight because it was so cold. It was Aomori. It was minus 36 degrees. It was so cold, and then." Can you imagine? It was the first time I traveled overseas and never realized what coldness means, especially when I came from a subtropical country, right? So I was freezing. So his dad said, "Okay, all right, you have him over." So they welcomed me with an open arm. They had I had my first sushi dinner. It was fabulous. And they gave me the best room in the house. And the dad warmed up the car and asked his son to drive me around to show me on Aomori. And the next day, they took me to the ferry station because I had to take a 4-hour ferry from Aomori to Hokkaido. So that was great, right? I mean, I was so excited because I got to meet so many people. So I couldn't wait to tell my dad because my dad said, "Oh yeah, you have to be careful when you travel." Anyway, I met quite a lot of people. I'll make the story really short. So I spent maybe 2 weeks in Hokkaido, and I met a lot of nice people. I stayed in youth hostels, and the guy who managed the youth hostel said that, "Oh, maybe I'll take you for a ride." So he used his car and showed me around Sapporo, and it was nice. And I also got to stay in the youth hostel that I was the only one there, and they had a wonderful outdoor hot spring. So I was in heaven, even though it was cold. And I also borrowed a jacket from my friend, a coat from my friend, and that was made of cotton. So now picture it, it was snowing every night. You go out and you were covered with snow. When you went back in, and the snow melted and the coat got wet. And then you went out again, your coat become frozen, right? So, that was terrible. But anyway, I managed, but I was not very, sorry about that. One thing about using straw is it's not easy sometimes, that especially with this kind of vase, even though they're very dramatic, but it is pretty hard to use sometimes. So let's see if I can manage to squeeze this in. I did. So I went back to Tokyo, and I stayed like 10 days in Tokyo. So when I went to Tokyo, for the first time, I went to all these department stores. Oh, it was wonderful because I don't know, have you ever gone to a Japanese department store? They have all this, in the basement, they have all this food that you can buy. Or no, at that time actually, because I was a poor student traveling, so I would buy a bottle of Coke, and then I will taste all their food for free because they give out samples. So, that's how I survive. And I spent all my money shopping, except I think 1,350 yens are left for me to go to take the monorail to go to the airport. So because I bought so much, by the time I was ready to go to the airport, so my roommate said, "Oh, we can take you to the airport, but that's it because we finished our exam, and we need to go home. I will take you to the train station." So I had, I think, 6 luggages, and at that time, it's nice to be naive, right? Because you don't know how you're going to get home. So I bought bonsai, and it was 100 yen each. I bought vases, and I bought clothes, socks, and everything. So when I went to the train station, I stand in front of the train, and I figure, okay, now I have 1,350 yens. How am I going to get to the airport? And with all this luggage, now my friends are gone. They all went back home. So suddenly, this guy came up and grabbed my luggage, and I said, "Oh no, now I got probably robbed, right?" So, but he looks like a very decent guy. So he just signaled me to follow him. So I said, okay, I have no choice because I basically didn't have much money to go to the airport and with 5-6 pieces of luggage. So he took me to the airport. He paid for the train ticket, the monorail ticket. And apparently he worked in the airport. He probably realized this young guy didn't know what he was doing, and with all these luggages. So he paid for my train ticket. He helped me to check in all 6 pieces of luggage, and I was being upgraded to first class. Wasn't that nice? So actually, since then, when I went home, I told my dad, I said, well, that was the best thing I have ever done. So that started me from being interested in Japanese culture. And I thought, my dad said, oh yeah, don't forget Second World War. I said, well, but it's different now, you have to have an open mind, so that's the time I ended up being interested in Japanese art. So I think I better stop my story. So yeah. So
Professor Lam, what is the
okay.
varicolored What are the small varicolored leaves?
Oh, they call it a paper plant also. Oh, you mean this? Oh, this one?
Yes.
This is, let me see. I think it's called Euonymus. Euonymus. Did I say it right? So this is flax. And let's see if I can make it listen to me. So now I will let you take a look at this freestyle. And you tell me if there's any branch from the bittersweet that I should cut. Is there any branch that I should cut? So by using, this is Anthurium, I create some depth and also have the same color. And this is Astobe. Okay, I try to see if I can. Am I doing it right? Because I'm not seeing it. But does it look all right with this? Okay, is that all right? Because I'm running out of time and I better don't fool around too much, right? Okay, all right. So this is my freestyle. And it's very easy to use, so I think if you are interested in Ikebana, you can start out with this, right? And you can still apply this principle of balance, imbalance. And so we call it balance and balance. You see, there's so much here and very little on this side. And they complement each other. And the flags actually mimic the shape of the vase. And in here, I found this, and it also has a V shape. So by carrying the same motif, it does make your arrangement a lot more interesting. Okay. Okay, done. Okay. So next one, in 1977, headmaster decided, oh, all these people are not interested in Ikebana anymore because everybody, the society has changed. So he decided to introduce a new style called Shimputai. So the next one arrangement I'm going to do is, of course, still bittersweet. So this is called Puerto Rican Anthurium. And I love this leaf. It's very dramatic. So Paula told me I only have 3 minutes on each arrangement because I want to do 7. And let's see if I can achieve that, okay? I like this leaf because it has a very interesting movement and it's a little bit curvy. And of course, bittersweet. This is, in the Shimputai, we have 3 elements. You can use 2 or 3 elements. Basically, you choose a material that move you the most at your first encounter. So it should not take more than 5 minutes, Paula said. So I said, okay. When I saw this leaf, I found the leaves beautiful. And in order to complement it, this is called shu, and this is called yo. Yo, that means it's to supporting the main branch, right? So I want to keep it as natural as possible. And so when I saw this, and I like the curve of it. So it depends on your mood. Isn't that nice? So if you, on that day, so I believe people's mood change, right? Depending on the weather and whether you just had a fight or you just had a good dinner, so your mood changed. So when you encounter certain things, because this is big, you need something open. So another good point, and I will explain to you more about that. Hi. Yeah. So in Shimputai, we also have to define our Mizugiwa, and because it is a more modern arrangement, so your Mizugiwa, the waterline can be a little bit shorter. So this is called ashirai. This is the accessories. But this ashirai also helped me to define the Mizugiwa. So this is bird of paradise. It doesn't look, so I cut it out so I can use just this part, because if I use the whole bird of paradise, it would be a little bit too heavy for my arrangement. So because I don't have much time, so Paula said, do it ahead of time. So I said, okay. So again, I'm using Kansan, and that helped to hold the material. So So this is the Shu, Yo, and Ashirai. So it complements. You see, one leaf can give you a lot of joy, right? So if you use it properly. And this piece, oftentimes the gardener will throw in the bucket, right? Or in the compost bin. So this is my first Shimpu Tai, and it was established in 1977. Since I don't have any help, I'm going to do it myself. Okay, I think it looks good, right? So. Okay, good. So I'm going to do another Shimpu Tai since it doesn't take a lot of time. Right? Why I do this, I get the material from a student of mine, and I also get some material myself. So this is Natsu. This is the lotus pot, and I think they're very cute. Reminds me of summer is ending. You can see how skinny it is, right? So I want to show off the beauty of this lotus pot. And with some bird of paradise leaves. Since it's very skinny, lineal, and this bird of paradise has a lot of presence, right? The leaf is broad. I wish I had more time. What can you do, right? Because if I have more time, I can tell you more the stories. So anyway, after I came back from Japan, I started to go to Japantown. There was an office of, it was an Ikenobo office then. And Japantown was very peaceful at those times. And I always, after school or after work, I will go there and look at the Ikenobo office windows, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 slots. So every week they changed the arrangement. So every week you would see 7 different arrangements of Ikenobo style. It was a luxury for me, so I went there every week to look at what's new. And that gravitated me to consider learning Ikebana. That's my story. I hope it didn't bore you too much. Now, but I have 1 minute. Do I have 1 minute? Okay. I want to show you how they complement each other. So by using the bird of paradise and the lotus pot. Now, we lack colors. And I want to finish up the Ashirai part to also define the Ishigiwa more. I think this is good, right? And this is Gloriosa, and I'm so thankful that II president allowed me to spend some money on flowers, and I was able to buy this expensive but very beautiful flower. So thank you very much. I do want to add some depth at the back. So Okay. So this is my second Ashoka Shimputai. So with the Gloriosa that brighten up the room. So far, so good? Okay. So this, in 1999, Headmaster introduced us to a new style called Rika Shimputai, which is totally different from the Rika Shofutai. Rika Shimputai also has only 3 elements. Doesn't mean only 3 branches, but 3 elements. Your shu, your yo, and also the ashirai. So it should not take a lot of time to do because whatever move you do it later. Yeah. So let's see how much time I have.
As much as you need.
Really? Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so generous. Oh, good. Because I do want you to see this arrangement because this is a scenery of nature. But I want to bring it indoor. But nature is big. It takes time to bring in, right? 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 Okay, thank you. Okay. So Paula, I may need you to hold this vase. This pair of vases is from Paula, and so in order to do a scenery, I need more than one vase to call encroachment, right? So, but this vase is a little bit unsteady. So let's see if this works. Okay, it's okay. It may fall, okay, because this is very dainty. Also, from gardening, I got this piece from my student. Actually, this is from my garden. My student gave me a small piece of this with a piece of root come out. And she told me originally she got the plant from her sensei. And her sensei got the plant from her previous sensei that came from Okinawa. So these plants travel all the way from Japan to San Francisco to New York. Okay, so we still carry the same genetic marker, right? So this is called Okinawa Shaga. So my student said, Sensei, how come I couldn't have this? Because she lived in Palo Alto, I believe. Lisa lived in Palo Alto, right? Where's Lisa? She said the weather was so hot last year, all my plants dried up. So, but I live in San Francisco. We have a lot of fall, which is good. So that's why I have this piece. When I saw it, I said, I'm going to use it as my main material to see what I can do to introduce nature indoor and hopefully you like this piece of Okinawa Shaga. So this piece of Okinawa Shaga travel all the way from Japan to San Francisco to here. So you better like it. So as soon as I choose this, because this is my main material, so whatever I do, I have to keep this as my focus, right? And we use wires to support it, and also we use Kensan. And the Kensan and wires give me a lot of flexibilities because now I feel like I'm in control. So again, bittersweet and I think they are a nice complement. This is so green, and bittersweet is so orange and yellow, and it's a nice combination. Makes you feel that we're in fall, right? In the fall. Good. You come. Don't underestimate this because it create a lot of depth. I don't know, I think I have repeated many times before. Andy Warhol said, everybody deserves 15 minutes of fame, right? So, and I believe it very much. Even though it could be a piece of wheat, if you put it in the right place, it could be your star. So I'm going to try that today. So I have this, and then, let's see what I need. Oh my God, you have this. So apparently there's a lot of material. So, hold on. Let me figure it out. Hold on, I don't need this. I don't need this. How come they are here? Sorry. So I use iris to for my Shoshin. And the reason why I use iris is Shoshin represents the future. It's a new growth. And eventually it will open up. So that gives us hope. We all need it, right? How long? You mean for how many days? Oh, it depends on the arranger. If your skill is good, it will last probably 4 or 5 days. If your skill is not good, it will last for 12 hours. Because wiring is very important. Depends on how you wire them, how you treat the material. It's like a relationship. If you have an abusive relationship, you end up fall apart pretty soon, right? So I try not to abuse my flowers, so I hope they last longer. So I have this, I want to show you this. I should get permission from Paula because she is the timekeeper. So you see how a piece of Okinawa chaga and with the bittersweet, how they complement each other, right? They're totally different. The texture, the lines, the color, and the service, they're all very different. This is called contrast. The bigger the contrast you create, the more dramatic it becomes. I also have to tell you another story. I have this guy at the flower market, and he was such a sweetheart. So last time when I did the demonstration, I walk in, I say, oh, that's a nice branch. Joseph, take it. I said, how much will it cost? He said, no, take it. If you use it, take it. So this time I walk in, I say, oh, you have lotus pot, a mature one. He said, sorry, all sold. I said, oh, I just want one, please. He said, okay, don't tell my client. The client's already paid for it. He went and picked one. He gave it to me now. He said, let me wrap it, and you slowly left, okay? So, and I'm so grateful because it is so beautiful. And I think it also reminds me we're still towards the end of summer, fall, right? And by using this material, when you see, this is part of the flower language. When you see it, you know we're not in springtime, right? Or you're not in winter, especially in New York, right? So, I like this, so I want to show you. You see how they complement each other, right? Agree? Okay, good. I don't need this one now. No, I don't. I also like this New Zealand flags. Actually, when you use it properly, it could be extremely dramatic, just using one. this is not what I want. I don't need this. It's a little. I also like clematis. In Japan, we have kikyo called bellflower, and it's blue, and it's very similar feeling of using this. So, but we can't find it. I have it at home, but the season is over. So I'm going to use this today. Eating you. All this I don't need. I don't need all this. I don't need. 你幫我排呢啲過嚟啊！ Something is missing. So this is also from my yard. They call it Sasa bamboo. I think it's very dramatic. It's towards the end of the season. When they start to come out, they're all green. It's like when you do calligraphy, it's so dramatic. But as it ages, it changes into yellow and green and spotty. What do you call this? So I'm working on the Do and Maeoki area. I try not to overwhelm this arrangement, so I try not to use too much material. This is Hypericum. This is one kind of orchid, and I like the color. It's so vibrant, and it's so different from the rest. And then also, hopefully, it can catch your eye. And the Misugiwa part, we try to make it as tight as possible. So when you see it, you feel like it's a little oasis. And this is blue star. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Actually, they're not hard to grow. I first encountered when I was in Japan, Kyoto, and a teacher used it just one or two and becomes your focal point because it has a nice soft root. But if you put it in the right place, it can be very prominent. So I'm going to put it in the front. Maybe I'll trim a little bit. And this is called Galax. I'm going to use it to finish my Misugiwa today. Lisa, where are you? Thank you. This is very dramatic. Without this, the arrangement will not look the same. We don't have to explain, right? Okay. Okay. So this is one part of my arrangement. Should I show you? Okay. So this is only one part, okay? So I hope you like it. You see it? And when you look at the iris in the center, eventually it will open. But what we do is we try not to wire it too much. So when they open it, you put a new one in. And the secret of these irises, if you buy a whole bunch, if you put it in the water, it will start opening like in 2-3 hours. So I only put it in the cold place, wrap it with newspaper, and I only use that one piece when I need it, and then put it in the water when I use it. So then you can keep your iris a little longer time. So I'm going to move this over here, or over here. Is that all right? I don't want it to fall. Or maybe you know what? I'll put it here. Yeah, put it together later. Actually, we have another. It won't take long, another 5 minutes. It's all right? Okay. So I want to keep this in the same place so I can see. Because, there's a piece of things underneath. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Because I need to look at this in order to finish this part. This is part of it, right? So. And in the Economo School, we also use tree barks, driftwood, dry wood, a piece of almost dying or dead leaf, as long as they serve a purpose. And here I'm going to use a piece of tree bark just to make you feel that it's part of nature. So actually, you asked about how long the flower will last. In Kyoto, twice a year, we have exhibition. All our students have to get together with the teacher to put out the best. Sometimes we spend a whole day making an arrangement, and then the day before, and the next day, we have to get up early in the morning, rush to the site to see if my flowers survive. If they don't survive, I have to go change it before the exhibition starts. So those are very stressful times. Yeah. So eventually, interesting. Teachers will not tell me you're doing it wrong. He wants you to learn it from your mistake. So that's how we find out, we can't do it that way. And we'll find out from students, how can we keep this alive? There are a lot of little tricks in order to keep for example, this Sasha bamboo, I came to New York on Sunday. So I have to keep it covered. And also, yesterday when I prepared it, I put Vaseline on the top. So if I didn't do that, it will all curl up. You will not like it. now. So that's part of the tricks. So in order to learn all that, you need to take classes. Right? So be Ikinobo or Sogetsu, but you need to take classes. And the more you take class, the more you will like it, because it's very addictive, I would say. And but it's a lot of fun because it does calm my mind. It's very meditative, and I think it's a good addiction, don't you think? Oh, sorry. 1 more minute, I'm done. So I'm good, right? Okay. Ah. Thank you, Lisa. And you know why I'm so grateful when you see it closely. So I am going to rearrange it so you can see it. Let's see, I don't want to fall off the stage. And you tell me if I need to adjust the position, okay? So this goes to here. Wait. This goes this way. And this goes. Oh, Paula, should I use this? Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Now, this is a piece of wheat that I was in San Francisco driving along Gary Boulevard, seeing all this wheat growing, but I said, this is so cute. And this you spend some time looking at it to see if I'm right or not, and I think this served a very important element in my arrangement. But this is a piece of wheat, right? Okay, it is a wheat. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to move it over here. Okay, and you're supposed to look at it as one piece, okay? Do I need to adjust? Yes? No? Okay. May I come down, take a look? I think that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Before you leave, I want to take a minute to thank all the people that make this happen. I want to thank Kay Chopper, and she's the Vice President of New York Botanical Garden. And thank you very much. And I want to thank Lisa Whitmer. She's the Director of Education. And Lisa is wonderful. Without Lisa, this would not look as good. Believe me. And I also want to thank Christopher Aham. And he's the manager. He is wonderful. He let us use whatever we want, basically. And being there when we need him. I also want to thank the New York II chapter president, Hasue Tambura Stein, and the New York II board members. Without them, this would not happen. And of course, our program chair, Yi Sheng. Yi, where are you? And Yi is instrumental in coordinating all that. And then I also want to thank my wonderful assistant, and she is the president of Ikenobo California Pacific chapter. And also her two students, and one is Flora Chang, and the other one is Debbie Chang. And yesterday they spent all day helping us. So without them, I can't do it myself. You know, you can tell it's very important. And finally, I want to thank you for being here. Give me the opportunity to share the beauty of Ikenobo Island with you. Okay, and thank you. And I have to thank God because today is a beautiful day and it's not raining anymore. So I hope you enjoy. Before you leave, don't forget, if you want to know more about Ikebana, this is such a nice Japanese art form. Without the new members, with new blood, it will not be able to carry on. So please come take classes. Thank you.